students, today in this video we will be covering a topic of English which is errors. Now errors is basically what? It is the mistakes that we commonly make while speaking or while writing in English. Now that mistake can be either because we are not aware about the basic grammar rules, or maybe we tend to practice less, and that's why we're not clear on different concepts. So my suggestion is that before we cover this topic, it is very important for you to understand and to learn every important topic of English, be it nouns, be it pronouns, articles, prepositions, verb, adverb, conjunction. So all these topics are very important in order to cover errors and omissions as well, because errors can be in anything. It is not that there will be errors just in nouns or there can be errors just in verb. Errors are the mistakes, and mistakes can be in any area where we are weak, where we are not aware about the rules, where we are not aware about the decision making. So here we will be focusing on errors on a whole. In the previous videos, I have discussed errors in different fields, that means that errors in different topics. So if you want to watch the videos individually on errors focusing on every particular topic, then you can go and visit the videos of errors. And here in today's video, I will be covering the topic of errors as a whole. That means that I will be providing you with a paragraph, and in that paragraph there will be error in each line. We need to find out what are those errors and how are we going to overcome those errors. So let us take a look at the paragraph. Now, before beginning with this paragraph, there are few points which I need to clear out to you, and those points are that whenever we are talking about errors, then we have to make sure that in order to avoid errors, we should know some particular points, and those particular points are that it should have a proper matching of verb agreement. Verb agreement means that if the subject is singular, then you make sure that you are using a singular verb, and if the subject is plural, then accordingly a plural verb has to be placed. This is first point that you need to consider. Second point is that the proper usage of tense should be mentioned in a paragraph. If the tense is not clear, we are reading a line and we feel that no, that tense should not be placed, there should be some other tense, then that becomes an error. So first and foremost is that suppose that this is the paragraph that I have provided to you. Now you have to first read the paragraph in order to spot the errors. If we are clear in English, if our rules are clear, we will definitely be able to point out the errors in each of the line. So now the pattern is that we have to make two columns. The first column will contain an incorrect word. Incorrect word is basically the error, and then the correct word, that means that how you have to remove that error, that will be placed over here. Now let us begin by reading one line at a time. The first line says that often these days we hear and speak of the conquered in nature. Now conquered in nature, I don't think that this makes a correct sentence. It does not make sense, it does not form a correct sentence. So here conquered is wrong. We hear and speak of the contest in nature. So conquered is wrong. We will be saying conquest in nature. That is the A point. In nature, the taming of river, the conquest of nature. Instead of in, we will be saying of nature. So here the preposition is wrongly placed. So instead of in, we will be making use of. Next, coming to the C point, remember that in each line there will be only one error. There are no chances of more than one error in one line. Often these phrases being used without attaching any value. Often these phrases being used is wrong. These phrases are used. So here in C line, being is wrong, because being is like you're talking about continuous, but here we will be, instead of being, we will be saying are used. We can also say that often these phrases are being used, but here we are talking about errors and we are not studying omissions. If there would be omissions, then instead of are, we will be saying are being used. But here we have to just point out to the word which is wrongly placed, and we have to place a correct word against that word. So instead of being, we will be making use of are. So are used. Next, D. Often these phrases are used without attaching any value to them, but those have an underlying attitude. But those are wrong. The word those which have been placed over here is wrong. Instead of those, we will be making sure that we make use of some other word which forms a correct sentence. So instead of those, we will be using they. But they have an underlying attitude. So in D, instead of those, we will be writing they. Instead, they have an underlying attitude of hostile towards nature. Now here, hostile word is wrongly placed. That means that yes, a word will be considered regarding hostile, but then it will be hostility. Why? Because here there will be a noun which will be placed. So instead of hostile, we will be saying hostility. An attitude of hostility, an attitude of decency. We will not say decent. An attitude of decency, an attitude of carelessness. So that is all nouns. So again, instead of hostile, we will be mentioning hostility. So in line E, the word which is wrong is hostile, and against that wrong word, I will be making use of the word hostility. Attitude of hostility towards nature's creatures, which seeming to assume. Now seeming word is wrongly placed over here. Why? Because here I will be making use of a verb, and the verb instead of seeming will be simply seems. The hostility towards creatures' nature seems to assume. So instead of seeming, I will be mentioning seems. And why am I writing seems over here and not seem? That is again a reason, because I am talking about attitude. Attitude is singular, and for singular subject, or when I am talking about an attitude, that is only one, and for one I will be making use of plural, that is seems. So the attitude of hostility towards nature's creatures, which seems to assume nature as an enemy which needs to being vanquished. Again, being over here is wrong. Why? Because I am talking about the present and this is talking about future. So it needs to, instead of being, we will write be, because that is the correct form of verb that we will be using over here. Here being is wrongly mentioned. We will remove that. And we will be simply writing be. It needs to be vanquished. So this is the example of errors. There were errors in each line. We have to figure out which word is considered as an error, and against that error what will be the word that we will be using, so that we form a correct sentence and a meaningful one. Here you can see that these are the correct words and these words are belonging to different topics of English, be it noun, be it pronouns, they can be prepositions as well, they can be verb as well. So here we have covered every topic which can contain error. It can be noun, pronoun, prepositions, verbs, etc. So my suggestion to you is to practice more of errors. You can visit our portal abhyasonline.in. In that portal, when you register yourself over there are n number of practice papers which are provided. Do practice those papers so that you can become a master of English. You can improve your skills. Okay, you can find out your strong and weak points over there, and accordingly you can implement more and you can practice more on your weak points to make them strong and score good in your exams. So my suggestion to you is to keep learning and keep practicing.